This is a free sample of the book, Never Ghosted Again, The Art of Being Irresistible, by Cairo Copeland. The first half of this book is posted right here on YouTube, free for everyone to listen to. If you like this content and want to hear or read the rest, or want to listen to it free of ads, visit reinventideal.com/ghosted. The book is available on Kindle, paperback, and Audible at reinventideal.com/ghosted.
Chapter 1. When in the hell did this become so difficult? Flaking and ghosting are pretty new terms, and for the guys that have been dating for a long time, they're quite taken aback by them. They remember a time when such terms didn't exist. They remember a time when dating sites like OkCupid were easy to use and meeting women on them were no struggle. Some were even able to do this on non-dating websites like MySpace, way back, and Facebook. What the hell happened? Nowadays, just getting a woman to even respond to your messages is a 1 in 1,000 Hail Mary hope. If you do manage to have that luck, getting a conversation going is even harder. Getting that conversation to lead to a phone number is extra difficult. Finally, even if you manage to get the phone number, have great conversations, and even schedule a date, everything can still crumble down to shit. Because on the day of the date, she may just change her mind and decide not to show up. Maybe she'll tell you, or maybe she won't. And on the slim chance that she does show up, if you're not extremely alluring and perfect in every way, it's likely you'll never hear from her again. No responses to your messages. No answers to your calls. No nothing. What the hell? How did this happen? Your saboteur and enemy here are not women. You should not hate nor blame women, though many guys do. The women are only doing what their collective culture is conditioning them to do. The enemy is other guys, more specifically, simps. These simps have been fed all the blue pill prescriptions and dating advice that your mom would give you. They are extremely try-hard and thirsty for female attention, and they'll go anywhere they must as well to do anything to get it. They've flooded the dating sites, apps, and even social media with their thirsty pleas, vulgar demands, and even dick pics with their phone numbers attached. In short, the present-day woman with a Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Tinder, and Bumble profile is offered sex at least 500 times a month. Imagine the effect this has on her mentality. Reverse the roles. Suppose you were offered sex from 500 women a month. What kind of person would that transform you into? You'd think you were a 10 out of 10, deserving nothing less than another 10. Bear in mind, you did nothing to attain this status. You were just de facto coronated with it, so because you exist, you think you were awesome, perfect, and entitled. Since so many women were chasing you all at the same time, and you saw there were endless options, if you weren't sure about one of them, you'd probably flake on dates with them. You'd cancel at the last minute when you just weren't 100% excited. Giving people a chance is something you did only in the past. If one potential option didn't do exactly as you pleased, you'd treat them with less respect because you're used to being competed for and the competition was fierce. You'd expect them to read your mind and do precisely what you want, but without you having to communicate that with them. You'd expect them to just get it. If there was one woman that did seem to just get it, but subsequently stopped getting it, you could easily drop her because there were hundreds of others right behind her. You could ghost on her without a trace, and while this could have a catastrophic effect on her, it would change nothing about your easily catered to life. Your temperament will change for sure, because you're used to being the center of attention and object of desire. If you got less attention one weekend, you might throw a temper tantrum. You'd think it was a grave injustice that the world should stop turning for to fix. Because you've been on so many dates, none of which you ever had to pay for, mind you. You'd get bored fast with the usual routine conversations that occur on them. This would make you more direct, in a rude way, to get the information you wanted faster, to know whether this woman tonight was perfect enough or could be quickly dropped. First thing you don't like, and she's done. You'd also expect them to entertain you in some way, like make you laugh easily, have lots of interesting stories to tell you from an interesting life, and turn a mundane moment into a magical one. You'd mandate that each potential partner provide you with an experience that was new and exciting, as opposed to something stable and reliable. This sounds a lot like today's women now, doesn't it? They really can't be blamed since they are conditioned to be this way by the hundreds of simps that offer them free attention and endless validation each day. They lose a lot of what they were originally born with, such as the sweet, kind demeanor that you're attracted to, and even some of their capacity for human connection. In the old days, all a guy had to do was be a good, moral, respectable member of society that worked hard, saved money, stayed out of trouble, and went to church on Sundays. This was how your grandfather found love. Those days are gone forever. If you lament and cry for a return to those days, you really need to stop. It's wasted energy. Further, this problem isn't contained in just the US. The entire world has been infected with this corrupting conditioning. The blue pill and simphood behavior on the part of males has been exported worldwide, along with it a dehumanizing attitude and view of males held by females. So if you're thinking you can import a solution to this problem with a mail-order bride or traveling to a foreign country to find true love, you're greatly mistaken. Women worldwide have more options than they've ever had before. The only correct response to the situation is to develop what is called allure or allurement, which is a strategy for adapting to their new conditioning. Something that's true for sure is that the more options they have, the more strategic you will have to be. A horrid prediction. Suppose no guy ever learns the craft of strategic allurement. Suppose they just continue to follow the blue pill doctrine and simp for all the women they want. Suppose the only strategy they employ is to hope for the best. What will the world look like as a result in, say, the next 10 years? The environment is going to get more difficult, whether these guys learn to allure or not, because there are other problems growing in size besides their lack of strategy. For one, the obesity epidemic is continuing to grow as the world makes laziness a luxury that everyone strives to attain. In some avenues, laziness is even celebrated. How often have you seen the memes that say it's more fun to stay in and binge watch Netflix than it is to go out and meet people? Because of the population porking up in large, the few remaining women who stay in shape will have more options than ever. They'll be chased by simps and non-simps alike. The overwhelming amount of options means she can back out of the relationship anytime she wants at the first sign of trouble, instead of attempting to work things out like they did in the days of old. This will certainly be true of women age 18 to 23, as they are at their peak sex appeal. But as they age, so too will their experience. You won't just be competing with the other guys currently after her, but you will also be competing with her past suitors. If you don't provide something new and exciting compared to her past suitors, she won't even give you a chance. Women in their late 20s to early 30s, they'll be more difficult than ever to attain. Flaking and ghosting will likely become so normal, they will be expectations. Because the options are overwhelming and hypergamy is now encouraged, women will want to see all their options before making a decision. It will be rare to have a date that is scheduled more than one day in advance. Keeping one's word, showing up to a date agreed to, being respectful and decent will be long-distant memories. Usually, when attempting to meet women in nightclubs, you only had to get her number and make out with her when you met her to ensure that you'll get a date with her. Soon this will no longer be good enough. You'll have to take her home that night for a same-day lay in order to get her to agree to meet for another date. Imagine that. You need to have a one-night stand with her before getting a first date. In the intro, it was written that in this pursuit, you will be disrespected more than you ever thought possible. And this is how. The frequency of flaking and ghosting will do that to you. It may get so bad that some guys will resort to sex dolls and even dating male to female transgendered post-ops. Monogamy will be less adhered to. Because women will have so many options and hypergamous ambitions are outright celebrated, women will want to see all their options, and sometimes see them all at once. You may have seen this already with polyamorous and open relationships, but who's benefiting more from the fact that the relationship is open? More likely, the woman in them has more lovers at her beck and call. The guys in them, and there are quite a few, are just happy to have one, even if they have to share her. This will become more normal in the future because justifications for such behavior on the part of women are being generated on a daily basis. You don't have to accept your current circumstances. Men have no right to limit you. He's not a real man if he can't accept this about you. You deserve to be happy, they tell her. The few guys that have any luck with women will be the ones that have some sort of popularity. Perhaps 1 million followers on Instagram, 100,000 subscribers on their YouTube channel, a nightclub owner, a locally famous DJ, a singer in a band, the owner of a business that's a hit in the town. In a world where so many people are famous for so little, you'll be hustling harder to get what's left over if you're not. What remains of the male population that have strategy but no fame is the requisite to work hard just to get with a 5. The guys without strategy or fame will be turned down by even unattractive women. Dating sites used to work, but those days are over. Way back in the old days, Craigslist had a section titled Casual Encounters, which was once a reliable way to get laid. The author even once met a woman that way many years ago, and she was the farthest thing from trashy. She was well dressed and acted very pleasantly, even put out. Those days are gone forever too. Today, that woman would have had 1,000 Instagram followers begging her for her attention. Even rappers and rock stars use Instagram to find groupies. They hit up women on there through their DMs all the time. Some of them may even be women you know. You now have to compete with rappers and rock stars. It was only easier back in your grandfather's day because frequent wars killed large populations of men. The death tolls in conflicts used to be greater. Nowadays, cheap air travel allows more interesting exotic men with sexier accents to come take the women available to you away. Some men hope to solve these problems with travel to Southeast Asia to get a foreign wife who still had old school values. But the competition for those women is worldwide, and even those women are becoming westernized. But there is one way to prevent all this from becoming true, or at least prevent it from becoming true for you, and that is what this book is all about. Allurement. A primer on allurement. Allurement is a collection of mental models, behavior modifications, strategies, and tactics to improve interactions with women that eventually lead to intimacy and inspire them to have deeper interest in you. It is your ability to transform a mundane moment into one that is memorable and magical in their eyes. Tactics of allure include cold approaching, flirtatious conversation, body language, and the appropriate touching in a manner that invites more contact. It is not a collection of pickup lines or wearing stupid outfits to stand out. That is the image that is often associated with what the seduction community calls game, which is a term that really needs to be abandoned, as it has so many negative connotations associated with it. Allurement is a far more holistic approach governing the entirety of your lifestyle. It is not something that only works on bar stars and the nightclub train wrecks. It works on everyone. Post-feminism, this has become a vital skill. No longer do women depend on men for their survival and well-being. They are capable of providing those things for themselves. Therefore, a man that can create memorable experiences, exciting interactions, and evoke favorable emotional feelings within her has broken past a barrier of mere expectations. This is a man that can inspire a little anxiety in her, upset expectations, and drive her to the point of desperation. A man with allure is an agent of desperation, truly irresistible. Many of the guys that are made miserable because of failed relationships with women, or no relationships with them at all, could have much of their problems solved if they just learned allure. Many guys complain about having to learn allurement because they think it is like playing games and they should just be loved and valued for who they are. Maybe so, but that's just not the world as it is anymore. Because it's hard work to learn allure. They refuse to learn it. Let them. This is a good thing, that they're too lazy and discouraged from learning the lay of the land and how to adapt. It reduces the competition that is already too fierce. There's also the fact that most guys do not enjoy using allure. They'd much rather use the same strategy their grandfathers used, which was just be a good man, and you'll eventually meet a good woman, which obviously doesn't work in today's world. But that's their problem, and less competition for you. Allure is far better than the alternatives, like trying to get rich for attracting women. Women being able to provide for themselves today means they don't need men to. Even if riches attracted women, that's a worse way to win them over than to be alluring, because all you'll get is gold diggers. Because it requires work, many guys are checking out of the dating scene entirely, living lives of indulgence in video games and porn. Let them, because what you're about to read is what will give you the life they fantasize about without them in the way as competitors. Being born male, you have a biological imperative to solve what is called your reproductive problem. This means you feel an intense hunger to satisfy your sex drive. Guys will often do this by chasing money, working out to achieve a better physique, getting plastic surgery, or attempt to learn clever pickup lines. They have the false idea that they must trick a woman into having sex with them. What these guys fail to realize is that women have a similar reproductive problem, one that compels them to desire a reinvented man. By using allure, you are not tricking her into sex. You're instead giving her the sex that she's already decided she wants. The existence of and increased usage of birth control means women actually want to have sex for fun. But some guys are hoping they can learn just enough allurement to pick up a girl and slowly convert her into a wife. That's a different skill set. Allure will help you get access to women. They won't make them what you want them to be. While they've helped guys get the girlfriends they dream of, it's been the failure of pickup artists and the seduction community to help those same guys keep said girlfriends. That is where the red pill comes to the rescue. When searching for a mate, the main danger is only rejection, but once you've attained a mate, there are far greater dangers ahead of you, such as a catastrophic separation, a nasty breakup, or even a costly divorce. But perhaps what is the worst possible outcome is that the relationship transforms into something that you no longer enjoy, yet you remain in it because you believe a new one will be too difficult to attain, let alone a better one. Do not brush that off. The author, in his coaching practice, has seen this happen far too often. Many miserable guys took on his services because they were in serious relationships where their mistreatment was the norm. Their woman often belittled them, disrespected them, demanded they pay for everything, denied them sex at every turn, and regularly bitched them up. This woman was once a pretty lady with a kind personality they'd do anything for. Now she's no longer pleasant to look at or be around. But these guys couldn't get out of the relationship. They didn't have the courage to end it, because so many years of settling for what little they had played a terrible trick on their minds. It convinced them that they simply didn't deserve better. So they remained in unhealthy, unhappy relationships because they were held emotionally hostage in them. This must be prevented, as much as flaking, ghosting, friend-zoning, rejections, and bad breakups. Thus, this book will not only show you how to get the women you're looking for, but also how to maintain pleasant relationships with them. These two skill sets combined are what's necessary to become truly irresistible and make ghosting a thing of the past for the rest of your life.
Thank you for listening to this free sample of the book, Never Ghosted Again, The Art of Being Irresistible, by Cairo Copeland. If you enjoyed it and want to hear or read the rest, or want to listen to it free of ads, visit reinventideal.com/ghosted. The book is available on Kindle, paperback, and Audible at reinventideal.com/ghosted.